Websites play a vital role in attracting guest bookings for hosts. But what are the most important elements to have on a website for it to make the most impact possible? Well, I had an opportunity to speak with Malcolm Freeman, the director of Oxygen Graphics, and he does all kinds of websites and other projects for hosts and owners of all kinds of accommodation. So he very kindly gave us his time to share with us what he thought was the most important thing that people should think through when they're designing their websites. So, welcome to episode 56. Glamping and unique holiday rentals are surging in popularity with the growing desire of customers to book holidays that deliver an experience. They are also the new business of choice for those wanting to improve their work-life balance. So how do you build a strong business like this that gives you the life you need and a great investment? I'm Sarah Riley, and I want to share what I've discovered after being immersed in this industry for over 20 years to inspire you to find out more about what's going on. Welcome, this is the business of glamping and unique holiday rentals. So thank you, Malcolm, for joining me. It's really kind of you to give us your time, because I know it's something that small business owners really struggle with, is understanding the importance of a website, and particularly with accommodation bookings, holiday bookings. It's quite a revelation to a lot of my clients when I speak to them about the fact that they are actually running a business that will be 50% online. And they asked me to explain that. So of course I explain by saying, well, when someone finds you, they will choose their holiday, they'll book their holiday, they'll pay for their holiday, they'll get information about how to check in. And that's all before you've even met that person. And all of that's happening beforehand. And then of course, they come to the establishment, they have their wonderful holiday and they leave, and they might come back and put a review online and everything else. So much of that process is happening online. And for many people, that is an eye-opening understanding, because they haven't had that before. And with some businesses relying on platforms like Facebook to run their entire business and to gather their bookings and everything else. I mean, what would you say to a business owner who is relying on that kind of thing, just one platform for their business bookings?
Yeah, I see that quite a lot in other industries as well. Startup businesses, they probably don't put the investment into a website because they don't think it's important. But it is one of the most important parts of marketing that you can invest in. And having a website, compared to just having a Facebook page where people interact, is very fast-paced. There's no credibility earned from a Facebook page. So you should be sending them off to that landing page as a minimum, or a full website, so that the customer can learn a little bit more about your business and find out, is there credibility there? Is this a legit company? What is it that they're offering further from what they say on their Facebook page? It's amazing how many people just rely on that. And, they're sort of reaching a peak of what they can achieve from traffic, engagement, new customers, because marketeers will tell you that you've got to have a marketing mix that involves lots of marketing activities. But if we just take the online world, there's not just your social media, there's your Google My Business, there's your Google Maps. There's lots of various platforms to have your business listed on, as well as your own website. The thing with your own website is you're in full control. You've got the ability to set out your stall. You've got your, you can set the journey for the customer. So first of all, what do they see when they first land on your website? Where do you want them to go after that? What do you want them to do to make contact with you? And obviously share all your information, such as your prices and your booking process. So you're in full control. And that's great, because you can then tweak and refine that based on feedback or based on analytical information to get the better experience and the best out of your website presence. And that's much stronger as a marketing investment as just relying on social media platforms.
Absolutely. And more so as well in my industry, which is glamping, unique holiday rentals, and also, helping people to get into this industry is around direct bookings, because in this industry, there's a lot of middlemen, middle women, middle businesses, which are the OTAs, the online travel agents, and they offer the host an easy way to get bookings, but they take quite a large commission plus tax out of that. Whereas if the host was focusing on gathering direct bookings, it would be an instant saving, an instant increase in profits, and therefore for the host, much more reward for the effort they're putting in. How much of a role, from your opinion, does having your own website and your own systems of marketing play in gathering those direct bookings? Is it really possible for someone to instantly start increasing their direct bookings by having their own website?
Absolutely. And there is a place for these OTRs, and it's across, again, other industries. Take the takeaways, for example. You've got the in-between men that are now taking that order for the takeaway, and it's really about ease and having the app on your phone, and credit card details are stored. Booking.com, for example, you can go on there, you've got a wide selection, you can get a gist of what the accommodation would be, whereabouts it is location wise, tend to have offers and deals, which may not be actual offers and deals, but they look like deals, and you can reserve sometimes, and most of the time, without any commitment. So that's very appealing to some people. But coming from a glamping accommodation side, if you've set up and invested a lot of money in your site, in your facilities, because you offer a unique experience, would the OTRs like Booking.com or others really pass that sort of feeling and that experience on through a small listing? And that may become gathering different types of customers that wouldn't appreciate or take the full experience from your site or your accommodation or services. So you're dealing with customers that you may not want to deal with. Whereas, again, your own website will sort of sell the story, will introduce the people that run the site, having good photography, some video. So you really get a feel on what to expect, an expectation of what's to come when I come and stay with you guys. And that's really what we want people to buy into. You don't want people to buy into just, it's just accommodation. That will do. That looks nice. Let's go and risk it. So yeah, there is a place for them, but having your own website and having your own booking facility is a must. And they don't have to be big systems. They don't have to be overly expensive and very complicated. You can now integrate third-party booking systems through your glamping manager type software that you have, or you can have your developer or your website company build something specifically for you. There are lots of pros and fours and against for each system. Sometimes if you integrate a third-party system, you've got limitations. You're not fully in control, and there is an ongoing monthly cost. Whereas if you develop your own, initially it can be a big investment, but you are in control and you can develop that further, tweak and refine it in the future. And obviously overall, you should save some money because you're not investing the monthly cost. Customers these days expect to be able to book online. And I know, and I'm sure you have, Sarah, when you go and find a venue, and it may be an accommodation, it may be something else. If it's on an OTR or if it's on another directory website, a broker type website, I will always go and put that name of that accommodation hotel into Google and go to their own website. So it's like a driver. I've even done this with Amazon and eBay, where you know who the seller is, and then you can go direct. Because you're right, sometimes these companies will add a premium, a commission, and sometimes that is more than what the price of the hotel or the actual website would sell the service for. So website, important for presence, people searching, going to, and obviously the expectation of being able to book is a must. And and to get a successful booking website is about clear and easy to understand information, navigation, and a very straightforward process to check out. The worst thing you want to do is confuse your customers about what's the price, what season are we in, what are the extras, oh, I don't understand this. And as soon as they don't understand, it's one click away to turn off and go to competitors or even back to the OTR. So yeah, booking's a massive plus point for accommodation websites.
Yeah, I'm always telling my clients a confused mind always says no. And it's so true, isn't it? That when someone has all these different options, all this information, and it's not very clearly set out, and there's so many buttons to press to get here, there, and everywhere, then someone's just going to get distracted and move on. And that's the last thing that we want to have happen, isn't it? So what do you think is the biggest? Yeah, absolutely.
Human nature's changed over several years, whereas when websites were just information giving, I think they call it Web 1.0, was we just read websites, and at the bottom was a phone number, and we rang. Now with the influx of social media, which is Web 2.0, with the dynamic elements that we can interact with information at our fingertips, we're now speed readers with speed information digesters. And when we come to actually wanting something, we haven't got the time. It's naturally built into us to say, I want to search for something, I want to find it, I want to buy it. Not I want to read all about it and I want to know what the benefits are and stuff like that. I just want it. So that's where we've changed in our nature as humans. And it can be detrimental to us sometimes because, you know, we've got some great websites, some great content, some great media, but we just don't spend the time looking at it.
Absolutely. And I know this is probably going to be a conversation for another day, but you know, Web 3.0 is coming along. Well, it's here now, but not everyone's embracing it. And so for someone who's still kind of on the Web 1.0 thinking and strategy, we've gone into 2.0, we're now into 3.0, and 3.0, following on from what you were saying there, is that not only can we read it and write it, but we own it. That's Web 3.0. That it's a really exciting time, but it's not going to really work unless we're already there, we're already in it, we're already on it, and we're already building our business on strong foundations that we own. That's the key, isn't it? And if we have a business on a third party platform like Facebook, for example, we don't own that. That's rented land. What if Facebook suddenly decides they don't like us and they cut all ties with our business and we're thrown off Facebook? And that has happened to people. Suddenly our lifeline to get bookings from guests is gone, you know, or maybe someone is a very competitive person in our area and they're throwing out adverts here, there, and everywhere. If we're not in multiple places, then we lose access again.
Absolutely.
To our marketing. But
Facebook would change the algorithm. You know, Facebook could suddenly, you've got a business page which you set up for free, you post for free, followers come along, you haven't paid anything to Facebook. So then Facebook may decide, well, we're not going to show you as much because you're not paying us any money. So, and I know that happens. If you are paying, you're likely to be more visible. And if you're a business, you've got to entice people to follow you rather than you go and follow them. So yeah, it's not, you know, you're in the law of Facebook, and they could change that anytime they wanted.
Absolutely. And I think really social media is a very different thing, and that should be kept separate. And
got its advantages.
Absolutely. It's very, very important. And it does lead to nurturing relationships, and those relationships can turn into customers, but it very rarely leads to a direct sale. The direct sale tends to happen on a website, a booking portal, or a booking platform. But I've actually seen in the past where people have paid for adverts, and the advert has directed the person from, say, a platform like Facebook onto an OTA and on a travel agent's website like Airbnb.
Oh, wow.
And so they're paying for the traffic to go to their website, hoping that that person that was sent there will buy from their page, not realizing Airbnb is just taking commission from anyone. They have no loyalty to you specifically as a host. And so they're going to serve lots of different adverts for other properties,
Mm.
similar to the one that you've just paid to have an advert to, to put people onto Airbnb. So it's crazy what's happening. I always, whenever I'm on Facebook or a different platform, I'm served an ad, which is in my industry. I always follow it, and I always see where they're going, what they're doing, and it's really surprising actually how it directs people to a very badly designed website or an online travel agent, and it's crazy. But these are struggles that small business owners have, because they weren't maybe trained in marketing, they didn't
Yeah.
understand it, they haven't done it for very long, they're really good at being a host, at building a service, their services on the ground, they're great at all of that, but all this other stuff. Now I've had people say to me, I want to be a host, I don't want to be someone who's starts marketing online and doing website and everything else. So what, from your experiences of working with glamping businesses and small business owners and everything else, what do you think are the biggest struggles they face in this kind of arena?
So the biggest struggle is an overall strategy and marketing plan, because a lot of people understand they need to do marketing, so they need to have their social media and they need to have their website, they need to have a flyer, but there's no joined up thinking. So especially with social media, actually, like I said, it has its advantages if you use it properly. If you've got your USPs and you've got your marketing taglines and headings, they can be used across marketing to really sell your business. And that's where the joined up thinking comes along, because what you put out on social and where you direct them to your website needs to be aligned. Where you put your advert in the magazine with a QR code, again, needs to be aligned to the website. And if you've got your message on your back of your business cards, or the tagline that you say when you're pitching a networking event, if all that can be aligned to a common or a set of common hooks, marketing headings, etc., then you get a sort of alignment and what's the word I'm looking for? Consistency. That's one thing that people struggle with. When you do scattergun, oh, we've got an event, let's post that. Oh, we've got a discount, we'll post that. It just becomes messy, and you're not really selling the USPs of your business, and also the feelings, the emotions as well that you get with attending your business or using your business services. They need to be plugged into there as well. So that's the one thing I find with people, they don't have a strategy. But that comes with expenditure into a marketeer, a marketing plan, and that can take time, that can take money. One thing that if you can imagine a spider diagram where you've got your business in the middle, you've got your sort of website, let's say it's in the middle, and you want to drive traffic into that website because you've invested a lot of money. Your website's really tip top. It's got good information. It's got good photography, good video. It's got a good booking system. You need to then drive traffic to that in all these different various ways. You maybe don't want people to call you all the time. So if you can get your website to do the hard work for you in answering all the questions, dealing with the bookings, people just registering just to stay in touch with you. So in the future, if they want to use you, you then won't get all that admin and burden as a business owner to be doing the same thing over and over again. So one of those lines could be your OTRs. OTRs are good. You need to register on them. They do drive traffic and they do drive bookings, but essentially they want to be on your website, drive to your website. You've got things like marketing, print marketing. You might send out a flyer. You might put adverts, posters up in the local area. And then you might have email marketing. So, if you can draw off all these different lines into different activity, essentially you want to all be driving traffic back to the website. And then your website works hard for you to drive those bookings and that revenue.
So one of the things I suppose a lot of small business owners fear when they're getting involved in this kind of project, and often is, as well as money obviously being a fear and having to spend money, this is the other one, and it's time. How much time is this going to take me? I don't have time for this. I have to run my business for the customer. I have to, add your excuse here. But time certainly seems to be one of them that comes up. So how much time is involved in setting up a website, would you say?
So Rome wasn't built in a day is the phrase, and that is quite apt for marketing and also your business. Just because you have a website and invested thousands of pounds doesn't mean that it's instantly going to be a success and drive bookings and generate revenue. So and that's because there's 700 million, I think, websites in the world. There's quite a lot of competition out there, and there's the whole thing about search engine optimization, how you get found. But going back to the question about time, first of all, you need to, if you were to employ the services of a professional web design company, for example, they're not just going to say, "Oh, you've got a glamping business, leave it to us. We'll create you a website." You need to be involved in that process. You need to be able to brief the company in with, what you want people to think of your business, and what do you think the feelings that evoke when you deal with your business. These have got to come from brand values, company values, personal values. Why did you set up a business in the first place? Where's your passion? And all these things need to come through to the marketing, especially the website. And that's where you need to invest time in thinking about those things and writing down, the vision, the values, and even a mission statement for your business. Once you've got those nailed, you can easily explain to companies that are creating things, marketing for you, what the business is all about. From then, you need to then plan with the company what pages, what's the website journey, what's the interaction, what's the call to action, what do you want them to do? And then obviously share, how to make the booking process easy with the extras, the options, the availability, which can sound complicated, but it can be drilled down into a simple format for the customer side. There's also something about content as well. Content is a very crucial part to websites. It not only do you need the right amount of content and a balance of keywords for search engines, but it also needs to be readable for the human. Google has changed recently the way it looks at content. According to their information, they can tell whether it's written for a human or for a search engine. So content writers around the world are changing the way that they write content, but still having a focus on keywords, but written for the human as well, which, to be fair, is not difficult to do because it should be like that anyway. So yeah, time-wise, it could take about 4 weeks, I'd say, to design and develop a good size website with a booking system. But you probably need to do a couple of weeks prep beforehand, and after that period of time, it doesn't stop there. That's the mistake people make is, whew, that project's done. I've got through that. My website's live. No, now you need to go and tell everybody, and that's where you go back to that spider diagram. And you look at the different marketing activity that you're going to do, obviously aligned to a strategy and then the common marketing headlines, and then you start doing the marketing. Now, some of the stuff you can get set up straight away. You do it once, it's there for the rest of the time. Other things you need to have regular activity, such as email marketing. If you've got, this would probably be for existing businesses, not startups. But if you've got an existing client base, you maybe want to touch base with them once a month on email, just to tell them what's happening, what events you've got going on in the area, things to entice them to book again at your site. And then there's other things like advertising on a regular basis, coming up to high season and stuff like that you need to do. And again, that's why it's important to have that plan, have that 12-month plan where you know where your downtimes are, when your high volume periods are, and what you're going to do beforehand to make sure you're making the most out of that activity.
And because this industry is so seasonal, I really like to see, or I really like to give myself personally winter projects. And so if someone is, in the process of setting up, we've got autumn and winter ahead of us now, it's actually a great time to get these kinds of things in place.
Absolutely.
Personally, I know that there's other times that you'll have to do it, but it's great for a winter project. you've got time to really focus on it, really study it, and then launch it in the spring and well, before spring and spring. And it's great to have something that you can start a new year with.
Yeah.
So is there a band that you can kind of say, oh, it's a website for an accommodation business, holiday business, a unique holiday rental is likely to cost between X and X? Is there a band that you can say?
Yeah, you get kind of. What we don't do is we don't do packages because every client that we see has a different requirement, and obviously it's not an out the box solution. That would be detrimental to the design and also against competition. If you're, I tell you where it does happen. It happens in the estate agency world where the software providers who you put your home, the estate agent registers the home and the pictures and the information. It goes out to all the portals. The people that develop that software tag on to the end of that, oh, we'll do your website as well. But the estate agent next door to each other will have exactly the same looking website because they use the same software. And that's where there's lack of personality. You know, all they're doing is listing the homes, so you don't get a feel for the business or the estate agency, and it doesn't attract you to want to use them. So what we do, our design is bespoke. Design is bespoke, and the features and the integrations and the interactions are all bespoke based on that business. You know, for example, if you've got a glamping business which is, you know, taking you back to be in tune with nature, you know, because of the setting, because of the location, because of the things you can do, then that aspect, and this is going back to brand values, would be integrated into the design of the website. So, you know, colors, graphics, the way things move, maybe some interaction, some moving dynamic parts. You know, that's where we'd get that information from a design brief. And then obviously we'd make sure that could be built in a functional way. If we were taking a standard, I don't know, 5 to 8 page website, 5 main pages, that is, you know, homepage, about us, accommodation, booking information, local area, contact us, blog, and then with a booking system on there as well. Well, let's remove the booking system for now. If it was just the brochure style website giving information, then you're looking at around anything from £1,200 up to £1,500 plus VAT. If you then added a booking system, now there's 2 ways to do this. The third-party integrations, so you've got your software that runs your glamping business or camping business, and they've got a portal for the website. They're really good. There's nothing wrong with them. We use quite a lot. They give you all the services for a very small monthly fee. We like them. They're great, and they're easy to integrate into the site. We obviously have to review which one it is and look at the documentation, but it could be anything from a couple of £100 up to £500, depending on how complicated it is to integrate into the site. In comparison to that is when you develop your own booking system, one that we develop and have all the notifications and the information about optional extras, you're talking around £750 to £1,000. You've got to balance out the integration into the website and how much it costs per month and what benefits I get, features, compared to a one-off fee that I control and own and don't have to pay those monthly fees on top as well.
So if someone goes through that process, how much would they need to know at the end of that how to operate a website? You know, is it quite simple to have that handover? Is it a bit more complex? Is there a bit of training involved? You know, how does that work?
We give training on all the websites that we develop. So it's up to an hour, which covers generally everything you need to know about a website. Majority of the websites that we develop are on WordPress, and WordPress is quite a popular platform around the world. So you've got access to lots of resources on WordPress through YouTube, through WordPress website itself. So there's lots of help. But we go through how to edit pages, how to manage the content, We talked about posts and articles if you've got a blog, and what's the best practices on how to post and what to include. How to manage your imagery as well, making sure you don't put too big an image on there, which then slows down the site. And obviously, if there's a booking system or something more interactive, we go through a specific part of the training where we go through how to manage this and what happens when the customer books. Just again, so they're in full control. Like for example, setting the availability in a calendar, which is really important. When you get a booking from an OTR, is being able to do that on your website straight away. And that's what we go through, and we're always there for support as well. We do offer a 3-month support period of time where customers can call us, and anything that they're not aware of or forget during the training, we're able to help them with that. And then after that period of time, it's always wise to have a care package, which you have someone like us, for example, who just looks after the website, make sure that it's always updated, make sure it's not the plugins are not out of date, and you're in peace of mind that the website's always staying live and working functionally.
Absolutely, really, really important to do those updates. I've known many examples where people haven't done the updates, and then those updates are often security updates, and that allows hackers in the back door of their wonderful website, and then suddenly their website's not there anymore. So yes, the care package, I think, is a great
one thing to consider, Sarah, is that websites have a lifespan of 3 to 5 years. So if you've got a website that's heavy on plugins, which booking websites tend to be, you've got multiple occasions where the plugin can be outdated. You've got the theme that could be outdated, and you've got WordPress that could be outdated. The wrong combination of those conflicts will cause a website to not work properly, and it would only be maybe a contact form's not working and someone's inquired and you've lost the inquiry. You never know that that's happening unless someone's looking after the website. So yeah, if you've got a website that's over, say, 4 years old or even 5 years old, there's a very high chance that it's not working properly, and probably you don't know that. So keep an eye on it.
So what are the most important elements to have on a hospitality business website, especially one that's offering unique services? What would you say are the top 5? I know there's lots of elements, but say your top 5.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got top 5, and you're right. There are lots and lots of things to consider. So I tried to condense this down into some really easy to understand and easy to implement factors into your website. So the first one really is having great photography. It's a must really for a glamping site. If you get professional photographers in that are catching the accommodation on sunset or even sunrise, it sets the scene. It gets people having a little warmth feeling about this is the type of thing that they will experience. And that can go through to video as well, having video walkthroughs or a little show reel that plays as you land on the website. Doesn't have to be too big. It can be 30 seconds to a minute. And once you've got those, they're assets. Great photography can be used on social media, can be used in your printing, can be used on your email marketing. And the same with video. Video can be uploaded to YouTube. YouTube being the second biggest search engine in the world after Google search. And that's another way of using those assets to bring more traffic to the website. Make sure you've always got people in your pictures, that are interacting, that are smiling, that bring energy into what could be an empty photo. So yeah, and just have a balance of not doing too much overkill of these are happy families enjoying our facilities. Try and throw some scenery in there as well. So yeah, it's great photography, great video, set the scene on your website. That's the first tip. And number 2, also gone.
No, I was just going to say that if you book a photographer who's worth their salt, they will be able to guide you through that whole process anyway. They'll be able to say, have you thought about this, that angle, this time of day, because of the sun and the angles of the sun, and this beautiful scenery and blah, blah, blah. So if they really know what they're talking about, they will be able to guide the host to make sure that those photographs are the best they can be.
Yeah, and you probably book them for half a day or a day. Your website will only need, I don't know, 20 photos maybe. Excuse me. But then if you get the photographer to do a bank of imagery, you can then use that and have that for further down the line in other marketing activities.
And it makes the marketing so easy as well, because you don't have to think about it. You've got these assets all lined up for you. And again, if the photographer really knows what they're doing, they'll be able to get the style of photography which is perfect for, say, the central spread of a glossy magazine, because you've been invited to be part of something like that because of your marketing efforts. Absolutely. And everything else. So these are assets that will continue to pay dividends time and time again. I should know, my husband is a photographer, so I know all about the importance of this element and how it really does partner so much and so well with the whole website, with the marketing and everything else that the host needs to do. So what's your number two?
Yeah, so number two was a clear navigation, through a well-structured menu. Making sure, one of the frustrating things is having, let's say, an old website, we're talking web 1.0, where you've got a fixed website, and what people have tended to do is put more information at the bottom of the page, and you have to scroll down and you can't find the information. So a clear navigation is always key, and structure it well so that, if someone wanted to find something, they don't have to look too far. So, for example, FAQs are always helpful. So make sure that's clear on the menu structure that you can, FAQs, booking information, it's right there within your eye view. You might want to think about putting like a search bar on your website, where people can put deposits or, search for information. I think that would pull up direct links to the information on your site. And just making sure that no matter how many pages you've got, you're using friendly URLs, which is the address. So don't overcomplicate the structure of your website. And I say that because it comes back to optimization. If Google can clearly understand the structure of your site, homepage comes down into main pages come down into subpages, and subpages come down into detail pages, that will be a good architectural setup for your site, and that helps with SEO, search engine optimization.
So what's number three?
Updating regularly. So you built your website, you've got your content, it's all great, it's all correct at the time, but a good website is a website where customers come back to. Updating a blog, for example, is a really good tool for helping gain more traffic. The reason for that is your website's got your common content, the content that explains about your business, what your features are, your benefits, and why you should come to this business. But there are loads of side shoots about, things that are going on in the local area, niche services, niche clubs that you've had come and rent accommodation. Certain, it's coming, the nights are drawing in, so the fire pit's out and the barbecues are out. So you want to update that on a blog, and that's the perfect application to do that. Not only are you putting fresh content on your website that Google likes to see, so it says, this website's been updated, we like this. You're increasing the number of pages. You're generally talking about keywords and factors that help the optimization to get found in Google. But also, you then got content to put onto your social media. I've written a new blog about the nights drawing in, time for barbecue season, whatever it may be, but then that's a driver of traffic from your social media. And you've killed two birds with one stone there by content on social media, content on your website, new traffic on the site as well.
Yeah, I often say to people that, Google, their biggest priority is to make sure that the users of the Google platform are having good quality, great content that serves their purpose for the searches that they're doing online.
Yep.
And if you're creating these great, interesting blogs with quality material in it and great keywording, it is going to be served to the searchers by Google, because they want to give quality content to the people searching the web. So, you know, so many people say to me, but I don't see the benefit of a blog. Why should I have a blog? And so these are the reasons why. So I won't dwell on it more, but I think it's really important to have that in mind, that it is worth the effort, it is worth the time to put into that information sharing. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And your next one?
Yeah, so next one is, so we might have talked a lot about optimization and SEO, but in this day and age, it's a massive thing with websites. So you know, your designing development and the look and feel of your website is ultimately the important factor. But like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's then you've got to consider SEO. Now you don't have to hire an SEO expert. There is a massive advantage in doing so, but there are things you can do yourself. And the next point is about building links. So building links it can be seen in two ways. You've got backlinks, which is another website in the World Wide Web that has your website address on it. This is an SEO tactic. So I'm not going to talk too much about that, because Google's changed recently where it's quality over quantity. And to get the quality backlinks, you tend to have to pay some money. So I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to talk about building links such as local citations. And a citation is a website that displays your company details. So consider things like Google My Business. That is a must. You must get your business registered on Google My Business. It's a place to put your profile. It's a place to put a pin on a map. It's a place to have your Google reviews attached to. And most of the time it comes up in the search above organic listings. So it's a very good driver of traffic. But there are other citation that you can build as well yourself. So local directories. You might have a local business directory or a business hub. If you can get yourself registered on those, submit your business, these are all links that are being built, which essentially tell the search engines that, oh, this website's here, 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 and here, and they've look like they're trusted. If you're trusted through Google, you get more authority, and that's how you appear higher up the search engine results. So yeah, I would always go and look at Yale.com, free listing, Thompson Local, Yelp. You've got your Airbnbs and your Booking.coms. If you can then look, the key here though is consistency and accurate information. If you make sure you've got the bio, the short bio, your address, your website, your services, your categories, they're all aligned, is a massive plus point, and you'll benefit from a good sort of spread of authority and trust across the web.
Yeah, and this is something we were talking about actually in my Startup and Grow Club last week, that it doesn't have to be a huge job, because once you've got that text drafted, I shared over 100 links of directories last week. They literally just need to find someone who will do a bit of freelance work for them, for a couple of hours, to go around and use the links to just copy and paste that information, and you've got your business listed. And one of those things that I wanted to mention as well about the Google My Business page listing, so important for the new trend, which has been happening for years now, but is really starting to take off, when people are saying, when they're using search engines, they're putting glamping near me. Where is the glamping near me? Where's a great glamping near me? Or where's whatever, a unique cabin near me? These near me searches on Google are essential. And if you don't have your business in these local directories, Google is not going to know that you're a local business and won't, give that information to the people searching the web. So really valid point.
Yeah, local SEO is a must. And You know, it's I know you might get some from the local area, but
Mm,
if you can build that trust and credibility locally, it
mm,
then stretches nationally. So
mm,
yeah, absolutely, good
mm.
point.
So, so was that the five, or is there another one?
No, one more.
There's one more.
Final one, number five. And this goes with what we talked about earlier about the marketing mix. Use your website as part of a bigger marketing plan, bigger
Mm,
marketing campaign. Think about all the activity you can do in marketing that is, all aligned to a strategy, all aligned
mm.
to consistent messaging, and that might be across print, it might be exhibitions that you go to or events, it might be email marketing. Make sure that you're doing all you can without, spending too much money. Make sure it's all within, reasonable fees, to attract and engage with your potential client base.
Have you got any examples you can share of businesses that have done this really well in unique holiday rental space?
Yes. So several years ago, we were approached by Jules and David Mould of Meadowfield Glamping, and they ran a working farm and had a new business venture where they would use one of their fields for a couple of safari tents, which would house, I think, 6 people in each. So they came to us, and they, at the very start of their business, wanted an identity and a website to start off with. And we helped them. We basically developed a brand identity for them, which included a logo and some brand assets, and then went through to build them a website. Now, it was an amazing sort of project because there were so many great things going on at the farm, and the safari tents were, so unique, and the setting which they put them in. So having great photography, having great write-ups about the people, David and Jules and the family and the working farm and the story behind why they've done this, was all put onto the website. And it was just great to be immersed in their sort of journey in developing that business. Since building the website for them, we've managed to do other marketing for them, such as signs, SEO at the very beginning of the website launch, adverts for magazines, and even recently printed umbrellas for the guests to use within the tent if they're going out. It's a rainy day, so it's all aligned, it's all branded. So it's been an amazing experience for them, and we've loved seeing them sort of get bookings, have people come, stay, and also get some really good feedback from the website that we've created for them.
Absolutely. And I just literally was a speaker at the Glamping show in the UK a couple of weeks ago, and managed to book a stay at Jules and David's place, Meadowfield Glamping, because it's very, very close to where the show happens. And so I have experienced her facilities myself, and I would have to say the attention to detail is amazing in her services, but I think also is reflected in the fact that they have really put time into their website and to make sure that their online presence is there for the guest as well, from the website to the app that people can download to their phone that says everything about the accommodation. All of it is works like clockwork, and I think it's a fantastic example. I would definitely recommend people go and have a look at Meadowfield Glamping website, for sure. And
one thing we do for Jules as well, Sarah, it's worth mentioning, is Jules just hasn't just sat there and said, "My website's complete now, I'll leave it and carry on doing else." She's really conscious about making sure the website is up to date, being improved, being worked on as well. So we're going through a round of updates. So this is about taking feedback from your guests. So you might suddenly start thinking, "Oh, why am I answering this question all the time? Why are they always asking? Are they always asking, is there hot water? Whatever it may be." That feedback you've got to take and then say, right, that's got to go on the website. So then we were always doing like a review, seeing how things are going, look at the analytical data, and then making changes to make that website perform better. So you don't just rest on your laurels and go, that's fine, I've done that now. Always come back to it every now and again. Maybe it's a 6-month period, maybe it's a year. Make sure you come back and look at ways and pages that could be improved.
Absolutely. Again, this is something that I recommend every host does, regardless of whether they do their own website or they have someone else helping them like you. It is focus it in the down, quieter months, you know, the shoulder season, or certainly the winter months, to actually focus on you know, what you can do about every part of your business, including the online element. And having a little review of everything at that time is great. It allows you to fix some problems before you start the new year. And I think it's a good thing to have in your actions and to-do list for sure. And great if you can actually do it with someone like yourself, because it means you've got the extra support there and direction to help you understand where you need to go. So what can people do if they wanted to get in touch with you or find out more about what you do? How do people get in touch?
So we offer free consultations. So if there's any of your listeners that are looking at maybe upgrading their website or starting a website, we offer a free consultation, and that's something we can do remotely. So we can join up on a Microsoft Teams meeting. It's about an hour long, and we have a chat. We understand about your business. We get some insights, look at the requirements, suggest some ideas from our experience, and then can go away and produce a proposal for that. To book that consultation, you can go onto our website, which is www.oxygengraphics.co.uk. And on the top right-hand corner, you'll see a button that says book a meeting. And from that section there, you can then choose to book what type of meeting you'd like. And you can choose a date and time, which basically aligns with my availability. So it's quite easy to do, quite a simple process. And I get a message to say that you've booked in. And then at that certain time, we'll then join the Teams meeting and we'll be introduced to each other.
Brilliant. Because there was a slight glitch then, as you said, the web address. I'll just repeat it again. So that's www.oxygengraphics.co.uk. So hopefully, if someone is feeling a bit lost and in need of some support or assistance, then that free consultation sounds like a great idea. They can certainly, you know, reach out to you at any time. And I think that'd be really helpful. So thank you so much for that. That's really amazing, Malcolm. I think, you know, it's for someone like myself and someone like you who, you know, my business is online. I work online. I work with people all over the world. And so for me, this kind of thing is just not hard. It's not, you know, I've done this for many, many, many years. But for other people, this is not their natural strength, and that's absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with admitting that it's not your natural strength, but knowing that there's someone out there like yourself who is able to give them advice and push them in the right direction is great, because this is a bit of a minefield. You know, I'm sure we've all heard stories about companies that have stung people, you know, or they're not even companies, they're individuals posing as companies saying that they can provide X, Y, and Z online. And it just seems to be an area where people are stung occasionally with bad work, shoddy work, or, you know, even, dare I say it, fraudulent work, you know, bogus work. So I think having a face to a name and a place people can go to in this industry is really important. I'm assuming you don't just do UK, you do other people in different locations as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got clients over in America that we service, built websites for and online stores for. So yeah, that's absolutely fine. And with today's technology, we can be like this, face to face, and you know, handling a project without a problem.
Absolutely. There are no barriers or boundaries anymore. You know, we have no borders. There are no countries anymore. It's just the world. That's the whole idea of the World Wide Web, isn't it?
Exactly. So connecting people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to you know, diving into more in the future about Web3 and the consequences of that in terms of this industry and other industries too. But that is definitely a conversation for another day. Maybe we can have in the future, trying to make that something that is easy to understand and won't completely freak people out, I think will be the challenge.
No, so we won't be with our VR headsets then.
No, definitely not. No, real people having real conversations, even though it might be online.
We laugh, but there are elements of the travel industry that are using VR. When you go to book a cruise, people that will, the travel agent will give you the headset. Why don't you have a look at the Queen suite? It might be something you want to upgrade to, and obviously that's part of Web 3.0.
Absolutely. But there are so many different elements of Web 3.0. And, yes, that is definitely something with a big cup of coffee on the side, I would say, just to keep the whole grey matter buzzing. But thank you so much for your time today, Malcolm. It's really fantastic.
It's a pleasure.
And look forward to chatting again in the future.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you. Bye.